One. I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by Ruth Gledhill, Assistant Editor of The Tablet. Ruth, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Amongst all the other madness that's going on this week, we've almost forgotten about Justin Welby because, you know, the news cycle now goes so quickly that you're kind of moving on to something else. But the Welby story massively made a difference to the Church of England. I don't think anybody can remember the last time an Archbishop of Canterbury actually resigned.
No.
It's quite a scandal, isn't it?
It's a real shame for Justin Welby because he has tried his best to be a really good Archbishop and put his heart and soul really into trying to change the Church and bring it and make it fit for the modern age. But unfortunately this abuse scandal has come up and really he's taken responsibility for it.
Well, because in the end, I suppose, it doesn't matter what else he did. This is what he's going to be remembered for, isn't it? And I mean, he did, I think, even by his own admission, make a mistake in not doing something that he should have done. It's
certainly a very sad end, and he's ending in disgrace, yes.
Yeah.
But I think he will be remembered for other things as well, because quite a few people are defending him, quite senior people in the arts and the establishment and that kind of thing.
Well, a lot of people are defending him because they like his politics, though. That's what I find quite fascinating, because only the people who are defending him like him because of his views, as opposed to what he actually did as an archbishop.
Yes, I think there's many people who don't like what he's done as an archbishop from all aspects of the Church. You know, there's quite a lot of controversy over the current policies with regards to parishes, and there are people on the Conservative side are not happy with his liberal attitudes towards gays and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of controversy in the Church around him, but this is, I suppose, separate from that. That's normal for archbishops to have to navigate their way through those kinds of things. It's not an easy job to do, you know, and no one really would really wish it on your...
But what he's also effectively done is shone a light on all the other bishops in the House of Lords, for example, because now people are saying, well, do we really need bishops in the House of Lords? And I've learned, as many people have learned, that the only other place in the world where theologians are kind of admitted into the process of government is Iran. And we're all kind of going, do we really want to be in the same boat as Iran? I don't think so. And
having clerics in the legislature, yes, I know. So I think that disestablishment is an answer to this, and personally I think that is... Is
that the way it's going?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure it's going to go that way for quite some time, but I think it will happen by degree.
Right.
It would take a whole 5 years of a parliament to disestablish the Church. It's so enmeshed, and the parliament wouldn't be able to do anything else. You know, it's so enmeshed into the way our country is run and set up, and it's in every area of our life, and it's not just this country, it's the Commonwealth, and, you know, it really...
But it's less important, I suppose, now than it was. I mean, the story this morning that we're looking at is the Church of England minister has been asked to step back from her duties after a review found that she was also aware of this child abuse by John Smythe. Reverend Sue Coleman, Associate Minister at St Leonard's Church in Oakley in Hampshire.
Yes, and I think there'll be more heads will roll as well. Other people are named in the report, and there have been questions being asked. But Justin Welby, I think he was right to resign over this because it was a really big deal, and it has been a terrible, terrible scandal. But
and he was wrong as well, I think, by his own admission, not to have done the things that people expected him to do. He didn't tell the police. He thought the police were going to be told by somebody else, but he wasn't very rigorous, was he, about making sure that something was done about this guy Smythe? No,
and he has apologised for that, but it was right that he should have to resign as well, because an apology wasn't enough, and the damage caused by Smythe is incalculable, really, not to the victims primarily, but then also, it's so damaging for the Church, and it's damaging to the morale of parishioners in the pews. It's really a terrible, terrible situation. It's a forensic...
Well, it's a sort of a stain on religion as well, and overall, I think, because a lot of people understood, for example, in the past that perhaps the Catholic Church had been tainted by lots and lots of scandals involving, you know, the mistreatment and abuse of children, and now it would appear the Church of England is going to be remembered in the same way.
Yes, and it'll take the Church of England a long time to recover from this. I do think it might be held beneath the waterline by this report and what it's shown, and you know, we will see whether it recovers or not. But the question about disestablishment is, as you I think indicated earlier, is will there be anything left to disestablish?
Yeah, well, quite. And what happens to Justin Welby now? I mean, I'm told he now retains the title of I think the Reverend Justin Welby.
Most Reverend.
Most Reverend, sorry, or maybe less Reverend than he was. Maybe they should have that. But a lot of people saying he shouldn't really continue to sit in the House of Lords because he was only there because he was the Archbishop of Canterbury, and perhaps now he shouldn't be there.
Well, he was. So Rowan Williams, when he resigned, as Archbishop of Canterbury, retired. Sorry, not resigned. So he retired as part of the normal process, but a little bit earlier than his compulsory retirement age. He was given a life peerage then, and is in the Lords through that.
Yes, but this is slightly more troublesome.
Well, the question is, will Welby be given a life peerage or not?
Because Keir Starmer was pretty standoffish, wasn't he, the other day when he was asked about it? And I think that was one of the reasons why Welby stood down, because he could see that he had no support from the Prime Minister.
There were a number of pivotal moments in the story as it developed, and I think one of those was when Keir Starmer, who is an atheist, said, you know, this is up to the Church to deal with, and then spoke about the terrible suffering of the victims. And I think the writing was really on the wall, but I think it had been on the wall earlier. There were other pivotal moments, such as when Giles Fraser, a vicar of St Anne's in Kew, wrote for Unheard website and then went on Radio 4 talking about the abuse he had suffered as a child, not in the church, in another context, but nevertheless sadistic abuse like that meted out by John Smythe. And then
there was the Bishop of Newcastle who came out and said that he should go, didn't she?
That was really powerful, and she actually is being named as one of the possible successors to Welby, and I think it's very interesting to see who will come next. And it could be a woman. Well, I think more likely than a woman coming immediately, you might find someone like the Archbishop of York stepping in, or being asked to step in, you know, but he's quite close to retirement.
In the interim,
but becoming Archbiship for a few years, and then we'd have a woman after him.
But is it, and I'm going to quite relish asking you this question, is it literally a poison chalice?
It actually literally is, and I think you know it's when George Carey was appointed Archbishop, and I remember being given a tour of Lambeth Palace by him, of a few of the rooms that were open to journalists such as myself, occasionally by invitation, and we went round all the portraits, and he said, oh, this one was beheaded such and such, and this one was burnt at the stake, and you know, and so many of them came to ignominious end. So in the context of the whole history of the Church, you know, Welby's fate is perhaps not that unusual.
No, no.
It is a poison chalice, and it's very. Robert Runcie was someone who did seem to do, you know, came out of it without his reputation in any way damaged, and Rowan Williams too is very affectionately remembered, and was really a man of wisdom and a wonderful man who's still got this enormous charisma now as he continues his ministry post Archbishop and his teaching. He's a wonderful teacher. So it is possible to survive and come through this. I think we don't know what Welby will do now and how he will come through it, but I certainly think that he's got friends out there who are, and people who feel sorry for him. Perhaps they feel that he, I mean, he attended the UN camps that Smythe was at as a young man himself. No one's ever suggested he was a victim himself, but I think there's a way in which the whole culture kind of absorbed people, the whole culture of that. And
but a lot of people say, how could he have been in those places and not known what was going on? Well, and that's a relevant question.
The report itself says it was unlikely, you know, that he didn't know something, and that he was actually warned off Smythe, although not giving specific details about what he was doing, but when he was in Paris by someone who had possibly been told by one of the victims of what had been happening. So no, Welby did not come out of the report well.
No,
and has rightly resigned.
Yes. Well, we shall see what happens to him next. Ruth, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Ruth Gledhill there, Assistant Editor of The Tablet.